Dun, 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 dun. Insert the music here. Insert the music here. Whoa, here we are, another episode of Merriwether's World. Good evening. I am your host, Dr. Mark Merriwether Vorderbruggen, broadcasting to you live from a secret location. Whoa, and part of my face disappears. Okay, sorry, easily amused. Hey, it's already Kathleen. Good evening, Kathleen. So tonight, so who I am, for those of you who don't know me, like I said, my name is Dr. Mark Merriwether Vorderbruggen, author of Idiot's Guide Foraging, creator of the Foraging Texas website, with over 225 edible and medicinal plants and all sorts of great information on when, how, where, and mimics and everything you need to know to pretty much live off the land if you don't mind being hungry most of the time. Yeah, living off the land is harder than they make it look in some of those shows. All right, we have a special guest tonight who I will introduce in a minute, but I will give you his name. Those of you of the tribe will recognize him as Ricardo Shillyshally, the owner of the H.E.R.B.S shop up in Cushing, Texas. But as usual, I first have to go through with some housekeeping stuff. So let me fix the camera here. Floating through the hill country. Yeah, as you can see, I kind of got some of the color stuff worked out. Very fun. Okay, so upcoming classes. There's only one more in October, and that one is filled up, but there is a waiting list for this Saturday in Magnolia, Texas. Then November is pretty much shot. But then they start up again in December out in Dallas and then also in the Austin area. So go to foragingtexas.com and I'll put a link up here, upcoming classes and information like that. So those of you who are new here can see it there. As I've started doing several episodes ago, instead of throwing all the sponsors at you right in the beginning, I'm going to split them up through the evening. But I want to put out in particular right now, of course, H.E.R.B.S. So this is the store owned by Ricardo Shillyshally there in Texas. And whoops, did I get everything? Hold on. Okay, let me try this again, because if you order a thing between now and midnight tonight and use the coupon code FORKINGWEEDS, you get a 15% off. So cool that. And then I also have to do a huge shout out to Wazoo Survival, creators of the Wazoo Foraging Bandana. And I will tell you right now, the colors are much more vivid than what they look like here. There's something to try and keep from turning into a red hellspawn demon. Required toning a bunch of things down and playing with a whole bunch of color settings. And so now everything is washed out. So this is actually very brightly colored. It just doesn't look brightly colored right now. So check it out at the link. Did I put up the link? Yes, I put up the link. So remember, Wazoo Survivals are the one that pay for the StreamYard account that I'm using for both Merriwether's World and the Donut Shop at the beginning of the world. The morning show from about 7:30 in the morning until 8 a.m. here on the same Facebook and YouTube channel. Okay, enough of that. Let us jump into the guest, Ricardo Shillyshally, Derek. And the crowd goes wild. And okay, so we planned having the same shirts because we have the same shirts, but again, because of the color thing, mine looks blue when it's actually gray. So really, just imagine, basically both of us having mohawks in the same shirt, and there we go. Okay, so Derek, for those of you who don't know you, let us start at the beginning. So we know you have an herbal shop there, but let's go back, farther in time. And okay, there we go. Here we are in the past. Tell us about your past. Give us kind of the Derek life story. This is your life, Derek.
Wow. It's a very boring life. I started doing herbs when I was real young. I remember pulling stuff up at the playground and playing with them. And I started out after junior high doing the whole survival man type thing and living out in the woods and being the He-Man and finding what I could eat and what I couldn't eat back when it wasn't popular. My grandmother was one of those that grew up grabbing snakes by the tail and swinging them around and popping their heads off and eating what was out there because she was poor and they didn't have doctors a whole lot. So she showed me a bunch of stuff that we could use, and it kind of stuck. I have done everything in the world except Indian chief and headhunter. I was in the military for a while. I've been all over the world, worked for mercenaries for a while. Got a degree in project management, working on my master's in herbal medicine. I forage religiously. I spend as much waking time as I can out in the woods, finding new plants and new mushrooms and new edibles and new medicinals. And doesn't matter what I've done, I've always come back to the plants. That's what I'm about. It's the plants. I was working on my doctorate as a naturopath, which I found out, as we've talked about before, it's kind of a naturopath is more along the lines of a nutritionist. They do a lot of supplements, a lot of this, a lot of that, but not a whole lot about plants, really.
Yeah, not a lot of nature and naturopath.
No, not really.
It's more like, here, take this lab-made vitamin supplement.
Exactly.
And so
you've got a green tint to your skin. You need to eat more of this, or you need to take this pill or that pill. And, most of them don't even know what's in the pill.
Yeah.
Which is why I like Medicine Man. That's why we have it in the store.
Cool.
Because we know what's in it. We know that it works. But it's that's pretty much where we're at now. I've been married a couple times. I've got two beautiful, wonderful kids that drive me absolutely crazy. All of this right over here and all this over here is because of them. And this is all.
I was just say they're young yet. Wait until they're older.
Oh, this is my second set.
So, okay, yeah. So
the house got really quiet around 40, and I got really stupid.
Oops.
And wouldn't change a bit of it.
Okay. So are you a native Texan, or are you like me?
I was born in Dallas, raised in Houston, San Leon, around the Galveston area.
Okay.
I've been here all my life except for my deployment times. Texas #1.
Yep. You're lucky. You were born here. You can claim it in your blood.
Yep.
I had to get all sorts of blood transfusions. All right. So then, as you traveled the world, you continued to pursue the herbal side of things wherever you were at, I'm assuming.
Right. I mean, Greece was a phenomenal place. And I find that as the true beginnings of modern herbalism, because that's where all of the greats were, Socrates and all of them that's where they were at. But that's where, even through the mountains and stuff, you can find the olive leaves and the different plants and the different roots. Yeah. And they live, especially when you get away from like Athens. I was up by where the 300 were shot.
Right.
And there's little villages up there. That's what they still use. They still use a lot of herbal medicine.
Yeah.
They actually have an herbalist. They don't have a doctor. They have an herbalist. And she's a midwife. She goes around and she delivers all the babies, and they come to her for everything. And if she finds it's out of her purview, then they take the 2-hour trip into Athens or one of the other big towns and go see the doctor.
Yeah, that's interesting when you mention Greece, because pretty much the earliest written records of Western European type herbalists are from the military surgeons of the Roman Legion.
Right.
And I forget his Discordes.
Yep.
Yeah. He has some really great treatises on the medicinal plants of the Mediterranean and the European area because he was using it to put the soldiers back together.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, and they've used them for everything. It's insane how much they used them for. I mean, that was their doctor. I mean, it was.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't go down and take a pill. You got a tea from the local guy, or a tablespoon of earthworm, or whatever.
Hey, there's nutrients.
There's nutrients in it.
Oh yeah, and I think the culture has lost something by losing the local medicine man that handles a lot of I refer to as lifestyle issues, things that come up, because you are eating wrong, or you're sedentary,
Right.
or you're not doing things, or like for getting old, things like that.
And it's funny because today, one of my first clients, we did the whole workup. We did, the whole background, told her exactly what she needed to do, gave her a notebook to study on, gave her, some notes for her diet, and a different group of wild edibles that she needed to start incorporating into her diet. And we never saw her again.
Hopefully that's
this was a year ago. She showed up today. 40 pounds lighter, a whole lot healthier, a lot happier. Had her notebook in hand, was talking about how well everything worked, and she followed everything to the letter. And it was, I'm not into this for the money. I'm in this for that. That is why I'm in this. The area that we live in is a little bitty town. They took our clinic 2 years ago. So there's not a lot of healthcare going on.
Right.
In the last 2 or 3 months, I've stopped 2 bleeds, severe bleeds, people coming up to me and having to call an ambulance because they cut their foot open or something. I've fished fish hooks out of somebody's eye. I've put salves on them. I've treated diabetic neuropathy. I've treated a bunch of ailments that the elderly people here with low income have.
Right.
And a lot of it is nutrition. I mean, a lot of it, that's the first thing I say, what are you eating? How much are you eating? And they go,
I had a bowl of Cheerios yesterday.
You can get in your front yard that's really good for you.
Yeah.
I've traded herbs for sweet potato pies, chickens, old country doctor type stuff.
Yep.
Because I'm not into it for the money. We're not, I'm not trying to send my kids to college yet. It's about the people, and that's, it's the people's medicine, and that's what people don't get anymore.
Mm-hmm. And as a medicine man, that is you touched upon it, that it's not just here, take this and you'll be better. It's okay. Let's talk about your life and what you can do. And like when you mentioned, here are some wild edible plants in your yard that you should be eating to improve your diet and so forth. There's that old saying, let food be your medicine.
Right.
As a forager, I take it farther. I say, let gathering food be your medicine.
Exactly.
Being outside, bending, stretching, digging, collecting, walking, all that has its own health benefits above and beyond the nutrients.
Well, I mean, scientifically, yes. I mean, you're getting the vitamin D from the sun, from all the sunlight. You're getting lots of oxygen because you're moving around. You're, bending over and squatting and bending is moving all of those lymph nodes in your body. Yep. So you're pumping that trash can in your body. Yep. So it can get rid of all the toxins and all of the garbage that you collect.
Yeah.
It's not just about eating what's out there. It's about gathering. Tea, perfect example. The whole idea of tea in Chinese medicine wasn't to drink the tea. It was to make the tea because it slows you down. It's more of a meditative type state.
Yep.
It's a ritual. It slows you out of that fast-paced life that you're in to make that cup of tea, and then the aromas of it, and it's just wonderful.
It's in a way, it's like a prayer or a spell. I mean, just
exactly.
like that, the focusing on not you but it sort of thing.
Right. And like Carrie just mentioned, many folk refuse change and they just want the pill. Yeah, that's today's society. A lot of people are just that. They want the pill, they want the quick fix. They still want their cheeseburgers and their tacos and their McDonald's and stuff.
Barbecue, Mexican food.
Chimichanga. But I mean, if it's done right, I mean, if you're going out and shooting your own pigs and you're getting your exercise. So, yeah.
This is true.
But it's, it's a connection that I have with the earth and with the plants and with my clientele.
Right.
And that's something that modern medicine has forgotten, is the connection there.
Actually, that's a perfect segue into my next question.
Okay.
Okay, let's say I am a new patient. I'm coming to you with some random maladies. And I don't even live in the town because I know you deal with people over the internet. Let's say I contact you and say, hey, I want to talk to you because I think I need help. Walk me through how you would then go, the sort of questions you ask, how you would set it up to begin with, because I know you've done like Zoom consultations and so forth. So, we have viewers all over the nation here.
Right.
So if
first off, I get an email address, and we send a packet to you that goes over medical history, family history, diet, sleep patterns. I mean, it's pretty extensive because it all makes a difference. Then once we're talking, I'll go over questions like, well, how far do you drive to work every day? What kind of work do you do? Is it physical? Are you sitting in a chair in an office all day? I mean, it makes a difference. You never know what the smallest little hint of things can cause problems. Stress is one of the biggest killers in America. You know that.
Yes.
Driving 2 hours to work every day through bumper to bumper traffic, that creates a lot of stress. Find something closer. You know this for a fact.
Yep.
Find something you enjoy doing. But then once we go through the whole background and everything, then we'll get down to the nitty gritty. Okay, what is the major problem? What's the one thing you want to work on? Because if the client isn't willing to work on their problems, I can't do anything for them. I can give you all of the knowledge in the world. I can sit down with you for 2 or 3 hours. But if you're not willing to take that step and follow through, I can't help you. And that's the biggest problem that we have is it takes work. I mean, herbs are not a quick fix. It is a lifestyle change.
Right.
Waking up every morning and drinking that cup of tea and then making another cup of tea at lunch. People don't realize herbal medicine isn't all tinctures and salves. I mean, there's different oxymals, there's tinctures, there's all these different varieties of ways to take in this medication.
And infused honey and
right. There's infused honeys. There's all kinds of neat stuff. The problem is it takes an effort. Once we establish what the issue is, if it's something that we can just work on with diet, I'll work up a diet plan for you. If it's something to do with sleep, we'll start working with sleep schedules. We'll help you work out stress techniques or anti-stress techniques, meditation, mindfulness exercises, things of that nature. And then on top of that, we'll do teas. Because a lot of times, different teas, different herbs in the teas give you different effects.
Right.
Mark's Battle Mage tea is a great stress reliever.
Oh, yes.
It's a great stress reliever.
Yeah, I'm almost out of the way.
Okay, I'll get you some in the mail tomorrow. That's easy.
Cool.
But it's a steady work. I mean, it's not, this isn't modern medicine. This isn't come here. Oh, I have a boo-boo here on my elbow. Okay, well, we'll kiss it, pat you on the head, send you on your way. That's not what this is about. This is about you taking responsibility for your own health.
Yes. And that's how I see with the Medicine Man Plant Co. I see these things as kind of support structures to help you as you make the deeper changes necessary to bring about the lasting effects. So, not even going to ask what that was.
It was good. That's what it was.
Hey, that's what matters.
Everything natural. Everything natural.
Everything natural. Okay, I got a question for you, and it's based off a question from Jonathan here. Let me put up his question, but then I'm going to rephrase it. So, anyone else watch survival shows while watching and trying to ID useful plants around the subjects of the show as they interact with their environment? Okay, my question to you, Derek. Do you have the problem whenever you're watching any show, any movie, you're paying more attention to the plants in the back? Whoops, I've gone demonic. Okay, we're back.
We were watching Avengers, and I'm like, oh, look, there's a mushroom right there. You know, yeah, I mean, it's a bad habit. My wife, bless her heart, she hates it because we'll sit down and watch a movie. Hey, baby, do you see that? Hey, you see that plant? What plant? I'll back the movie up right there. You know, it gets, and it's any movie. I mean, Avengers. We were watching House reruns. The kids have been introduced to Andy Griffith. And even in Andy Griffith, in those black and whites, I can still pick out the plants and go, oh, look, right there by the road where they're walking down. You know, it's hard, but you know, you sit there and you bite your lip a lot. You have sore ribs from your spouse.
Yeah, shut up.
Shut up. You're ruining the movie.
If you're watching a movie with friends, it's like, hey, those two plants don't bloom at the same time. It's like, shut up.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, you know, I could make a salve for that. Jeez, that ain't no big deal.
This is true. Walk it off. You know, rub some dirt.
Walk it off. You're fine.
Okay. So this leads to another question. If you we're out and about. So you live in East Texas, there up in the Cushing area, kind of near Alto. Just walking around right now, what would you say are the 3 most medicinal things people in that area would find? Let's start there.
Easily, right now, goldenrod, poke, and curled dock, Rumex.
Yeah.
I've got 3 of them just growing just everywhere right now. And they are all medicinal. John's wanting to know what I'm drinking, it looks like.
Oh, cool. Oh, okay. And I'm just drinking Crawford Bock from Carbach. I like the taste. It's better in bottles than in cans. There's something about the cans that isn't as good. But
I'm drinking apples.
Apples are good. Okay, here's a question I don't quite understand. But first thing to forage plants for shoes, why not make shoes?
You can use, if you're going to make shoes,
I'd use
you can make birch bark shoes lined with mullein.
Yeah.
Oak bark.
Yeah. Some of the inner bark, the cambium layers of some of the bigger trees, like pine, they would just stick to your foot naturally.
Right. Cleavers.
Ooh.
I've actually done that. I've actually made cleaver shoes to walk through some sticker vines.
Oh, beautiful. Here's a question. When you deal with people, what do you think is based on people's reactions to your suggestions? What would you say is probably to other people, the most shocking medicinal plant? They go, wait, what? You want me to eat that sort of thing? Other than pokeweed.
Okay, that's the worst one. I mean, poke is the one that everybody is so paranoid for.
Me too.
Another one, mandrake.
Oh,
American mandrake. You can actually eat the fruit. The rest of it's poisonous if you eat it.
So you're talking about the Mayapple, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Mayapple, American mandrake. I can't remember the scientific name off the top of my head. Throws out a couple of real big leaves that's got little ovates on them. Drops one single fruit. Yeah, Mayapple. There you go.
Yeah, the Podophylum Petatum.
Yep, that's it.
So Yep. So this is an East Texas plant. I see it. I've actually found it in Houston, which shocked the hell out of me.
Wow.
Not this time of year, but in the spring. But,
All right.
yeah.
I transplanted it.
Really?
I actually transplanted it to my property.
Awesome.
That way I have a steady supply of it when I need it.
Yeah. It's a neat plant because its first year, it just makes one leaf.
Right.
And then after that, it just makes 2 leaves, and that's all it does. And then it has 1 flower right at the joint of the 2 leaves, and then that produces a fruit. I have yet to eat a May apple fruit. I have never found them in the wild because they are so hard to come by because the animals go crazy over them.
The animals love them. We have a huge area up here in one of the parks that is just prolific all over the place. And
Cool.
you can't, I mean, you see it where it's about this big around. And by the time you come back 2 days later, it's a little bit bigger. You come back a day later and it's gone.
And it's gone. Yep. So what do you use it for? The root?
I'm
assuming the root, because that's usually
it's the root, and it's used very, very, very sparingly. What, baby? Oh, I mean, my wife who looks at me like, huh? You use it a lot for gout.
Okay.
It's a good blood cleanser, from what I understand. I use it very sparingly in special formulas for a specific client. I've only used it for the one client, and he had pretty good uses for it.
Cool.
And good responses to it. But it was strictly here. Use this for a couple of days and then don't use it more, because it's pretty stout medicine.
Yeah, it's like with regular medicine, there's often the difference between poison and medicine is dose.
It's a fine line right there.
Okay, we're going to stop here for a second because it's time to throw some sponsors out at there. So I'm going to switch over to just me to get a little more screen size. So, because the sponsors make my world go around, I got to give a big shout out to Campcraft Outdoors. And I just knocked the light fixture. I'm touching the sun. Yeah, so Campcraft Outdoors, handmade in the USA, nice sturdy canvas for when you don't want to be wearing plastic out in the wild, because who wants to wear plastic out in the wild? And so if you use the Foraging Texas coupon code, and you know what? It's even better if I do this. Here, I can bring this in. Okay, you're probably back on there, Derek. But yeah, the Campcraft Outdoors, all sorts of cool stuff there. Oops, online store, handcrafted bags in particular, all sorts of really neat haversacks and pouch carriers and gear carriers. So really good stuff. Like I said, for the person who doesn't want to be wearing plastic out in the wild.
You don't want plastic in the wild.
Especially around campfires, because canvas doesn't melt. Okay, and then similar, but not exactly the same, we have the Fear and Dread store. So for all your survival type needs, urban, suburban, anything like that. This right here, the Tick Wrangler. I have one of those on every piece of pack and key ring and stuff like that, because wood ticks nowadays carry all sorts of nasty things, and the sooner you get them off, the better. And so if you use the code Merriwether with the Fear and Dread store, located in Vidor, Texas, it gives you a 5% off off $100 or more. Okay, and then because several people have asked about you, Derek, I'm going to throw you up here again. And to get a hold of Derek, so the H.E.R.B.S shop there, what is it? It's the H.E.R.B.S-10899. Yeah, go follow the link rather than try and memorize it. Okay, and like I said, these are the people that help keep this show on the air. So now back to Derek. Okay, another question. General first aid. If you were recommending someone should have several herbs just on hand, dried herbs, on their house for some of the most common sort of situations, what would you recommend? Your herbal first aid kit for, sitting there in the, in the bathroom cabinet?
I would definitely, and this is, I know how most people feel about poke, but in mine, I have a poke tincture because it's great for infections. It's great for anything like that. It's a good lymph cleanser.
Right.
And that's what we use it for. So any little infections and, you start getting a little bacteria in your body, it's just great for that. Comfrey, because it's a great wound proliferator. I cannot never say that word. Proliferator. There we go. It helps actually build the skin cells that will help seal a wound off pretty quickly. Usnea, because you can make a good decoction of usnea, and it will help. It's great for antibiotics. It's an antiviral. Black walnut for everything.
Yeah.
Everything else.
When you're saying black walnut, you're talking about the husks.
The hull, yeah, black walnut hull. And
right. Okay, the hull or the husk?
The hull, actually the black husk thing that you have to break off.
Not the hard part, the soft part that stains your fingers and everything.
Right. It's a great emetic.
I want to make sure we were on the same page there. Yeah.
It's a great wormer. You can give it to your dog to worm your dogs and your animals. It's a great. It's good for you to brush your teeth with. Believe it or not. I didn't realize that until about 3 weeks ago. Actually, it's a good teeth whitener. Actually,
interesting.
It's black and charcoal, activated charcoal. And then you always have to have some type of a boo-boo cream, a drawing salve. We do a black salve, an old-fashioned black salve that we keep, and it's
when we talk about black salve here, because it's really cool stuff.
That's not it. There it is. Yeah, I mean it's black salve.
Yeah.
So
when you talk about what's in it and what the person would use it for.
Well, it's great for splinters. It's good for ant bites. It's a good drawing salve. If you're out working, out in the woods like we do, you get into briars, you get into blackberries and dewberry vines and those little bitty stickers that get under your skin and you don't know it until you get home. You're like, the little ocalides, I think they're called, on cactus. Oh,
the glotids.
Yeah, those things.
Tiny
little monsters.
Yeah.
It's great for pulling that type of stuff out. If you get a bee bite, you put a little bit on there, it helps draw that toxin out. It's just a good overall boo-boo cream.
Cool. We got 2 good questions here. So first from Deanna, how do you use it to brush your teeth? So again, back to the black
you mix it with a tooth powder, which is usually baking soda, some type of a salt. We use a pink salt. We use myrrh or spearmint, and you just put a little bit inside that. Wet your toothbrush, dab it on there, and then just brush your teeth and spit it out because it's tasty.
In this case, it's the black walnut husk. Yes. I'm assuming dried and powdered.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to dry. It takes a while to dry because it's just kind of crumbled.
Yeah.
And then when you start grinding it up, it turns into a real fine powder and just goes everywhere. It's as bad as charcoal. Charcoal is really good to brush your teeth with too.
Yeah.
But you don't want to swallow either one of them. Black walnut is really good for worms, for pinworms. And it will flush your system out.
Yep. Okay. Then another good question here. Would the black salve be good for acne for a teen?
No, not really. Acne is a bacteria. It's a skin bacteria. It's what gets into your pores, and that's what causes acne is the bacteria. That's why a lot of the acne treatments is a lot of scrubbing, a lot of cleaning, a lot of astringents. Stuff of that nature for acne, but no, I wouldn't use a drawing salve for that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's say some sort of antibacterial. I'm thinking that like the oak galls.
Oak galls would be great. You do a little usnea, a little oak gall, and then mix that in with some witch hazel.
Oh yeah,
that would be phenomenal. That would be a phenomenal astringent for your face.
Yep, nice and drying. Here's a good one. Does the dried walnut husk stay stored well, or how would you store it? I'm picturing stringing them on strings and letting them dry.
Yeah.
Like the old
That's-
popcorn garland, and then just
If you have room for that, that is phenomenal. That's the best way to do anything.
well, yeah, I have high ceilings and a short wife, so
Exactly. I have just the opposite: short ceilings and a tall wife. So what people don't realize, and this is a little personal, my wife is almost as tall as Mark.
Yes.
And I'm a little bitty short guy.
Yeah, it was like we're mirror images family wise.
Right.
It was kind of weird.
But yeah, I mean, you can buy those little desiccant packets on Amazon really cheap. I usually, any type of dried food, any dried herb I just throw one in there just to keep it dried. Even after, if it does get a little moisture to it and gets a little solid, you can always break it up and shake it up, and it turns back into a powder.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a mason jar, tight, little desiccant powder in, desiccant envelope in there. You're good.
Okay. I am going to respond. A person is asking medicinal herb books you would recommend, and I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to put the link up to my Amazon store. Book recommendations. Okay. Hopefully that went out. Okay, it went out. Okay, so let's see. What other, do we have any really cool, interesting questions? One thing I found over, return to human. Okay. I hate it. The camera shows the true nature. The one thing I found that if there aren't a lot of questions, that usually means people are actually really enjoying and interested. So let's jump over to mushrooms. Because
Okay.
we're entering mushroom weather. What sort of mushrooms have you prescribed for people and recommended for people?
Oh Lord.
Around easy to find Texas-y.
Oysters, amanita, lion's mane, reishi,
Turkey tail, one of
turkey tails all over the place.
Yep.
Ringless honeys are good to eat. And most mushrooms are good for cholesterol anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean, any type of wild mushroom that you can get your hands on that are edible, and make sure you go to an expert and have it verified.
Right.
Don't take your buddy's word for it. Hey, I ate one of those.
And I will tell you,
a question mark about some mushrooms. I mean, straight up,
Yep. The like even the Texas mushroom identification page and stuff.
Right.
There's a lot of people just throwing random guesses out.
It's scary.
Yeah. I've had to leave several groups because people, I don't know if they're purposely misleading people or what, but it just ended up being too much of my time arguing with people. I was like, nope. So when it comes to identifying mushrooms, most people like, me or you or someone will say, okay, compare it to this.
Right.
And we'll give you a link on all the little things you need to identify, like the ringless honey mushroom or the oyster.
Research this type.
And see if yours matches all the structural features and everything else.
Yeah. There's a whole lot of people that one of the biggest mycology jokes in the world is every mushroom is edible once.
Yep. Okay, here's another question. You're in a grocery store. What are some of the fruits or vegetables you would recommend that aren't normally thought of as medicinal, but have some really good medicinal properties? And I got to point out to the audience that I'm hitting Derek just blind with these questions. This isn't like a presidential debate where they're giving the questions ahead of time. I'm just whacking him upside the head. So you can tell me to go stuff myself if you want.
Any type of berry, because they're just full of antioxidants. Blueberries especially. Cayenne pepper.
Oh yeah.
Is just a great anti-inflammatory. It is good for heartburn. It is good for digestion. It's a good, people don't realize it. You cut yourself, pour some cayenne on it. It stops the bleeding. Scary stuff. Let's see, papaya, mango, all of those are really good. for digestion. They're good for blood pressure, good for about diabetes.
Okay, I didn't know that one. That's cool.
Yeah, that's something new that I just found out. I study constantly. I'm always looking up new stuff because there's just so much of it out there.
And there's new research coming out, and all that. It's always exciting. Suddenly, hey, guess what, folks? This does that.
Right. I think that you never thought of. I've been around fig trees my entire life. Never knew that the leaves were very medicinal.
Yeah, and the tea, and also toasted, they taste like coconut.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
But most of your fruits and vegetables, the thing about anything out of the grocery store is you want to, one, make sure it's ripe. Two, if it is ripe, take it home and eat it that night, because if you let it sit on the counter, it's going to go bad. Wash everything thoroughly. I cannot express the importance of that. Wash it, scrub it, take your lettuce heads apart and get all inside there, because it's you don't know what they're spraying on it.
Yeah. Vinegar is a good rinse too for things.
Vinegar's a great rinse.
Yeah, when a salad spinner. I admit I don't wash my herbs and wild things. I kind of run my hands across them, but not. Okay, here's another surprise question for you. You ready? What time is it? Okay, good. Is there a herbal myth out there that just drives you bonkers when you hear someone repeat it, other than pokeweed is poisonous?
Herbal myth.
Or something that's highly overrated or just doesn't live up to its billing, or
there is so much that is out there that is just so bogus. I say, not to upset anyone, colloidal silver is one of the big ones. That and essential oils are my two big pet peeves. There's uses for both of them, don't get me wrong. But I see them used wrong a lot of times by a bunch of laymen who have really no clue how much damage they're really doing themselves. Prickly ash. There you go. There's another one. Prickly ash. It's devil's walking stick. They're two different plants. That people don't realize this. They're two different plants. And they don't realize that the berries are even more medicinal than what the bark is. I mean, the bark is great. Take a piece of the bark off, put it between your cheek and gum, kill a toothache. And anything in that area, because you're just, it just makes everything numb. But I also use that as an oil, as a topical. Mosquito bites and bug bites and stuff like that. It takes the sting out of it.
Okay.
But yeah, I hear a lot of people bad mouthing prickly ash.
I'm bringing up I'm posting prickly ash, and then I'm getting the devil's walking stick, both of which are on Foraging Texas.
Yes, I know.
Oops, there it is. Okay, devil's walking stick. So they're similar, and they're both trees with thorns and compound leaves, but the arrangement of the thorns are very different. The size and shape of the thorns are very different. There's two structural features that match and dozens that don't. So you keep in mind. Whoops, did I put? Okay, yes. Okay. Let's see. Another idea or another question here. Let's see if there's anyone. Oh, okay. Here's a good question. You can have the tincture or you can have the tea. Which do you grab?
Depends on the ailment. Depends on how much I need of that herb. As a tea, you're getting more benefits from a tea because you're getting the heat, you're getting the herb, you're getting the aroma, you're getting all of these different aspects of the plant versus a tincture where you're getting a more concentrated aspect of it. The constituents are more compressed. All that stuff is pulled out of it. So you're not getting the smell. You're not getting any of the flavors. You're not getting anything but the medicinal benefits. up until probably the early 1800s, we didn't have tinctures. It was all tea. If you got sick, you went and you got a tea. Everything came in a tea. It was a nasty tea, but it was a tea. And you got it 4, 5, 6 times a day.
Yeah.
And there's still teas that you can make up. Sumac is a great one. You can make it up in the ice box, put it in the ice box, add a couple of leaves to it. And it's great for you. People don't use the leaves of sumac much, but it's really good for you. Sassafras is another one. Sassafras, you can make a batch of sassafras tea up, put it in the ice box, and it's cancer causing. Don't believe the study. It was all bogus. And it is great. It's good for digestion. You can actually, I think it's sassafras that you can, the sassafras leaves you can make filet out of. It was really good stuff. There's a lot of things you can do with it. But teas are, if you're going to drink that much tea, I'm going to guess out of a dropper full of tincture, you'll get roughly the same dosage as you would out of probably 4 cups of tea.
Yeah.
But you're not getting the hydration that you need.
Yeah. And one thing I do is I make the tea with certain herbs and then put the tinctures in it, and everyone's happy then.
Right.
Okay. Here's a great question from Mike. We have, okay. We have prickly ash on our East Texas place. Please talk about the best way to get the oil, to make the oil.
Take the leaves and watch the little, there's 2 stickers in between each leaf set. Take the leaves off. Wear bandages on your fingers because it will prick you and it will make your fingertips numb. Pull all the leaves off of it, put it into a jar of oil, just pack it full just pack it into a quart jar, pour olive oil on it or coconut oil, whatever your favorite oil is, castor oil, whatever. And then either do a heat extraction where you actually, and I'm actually
wow.
a little bitty crock pot.
Yep.
Got a little bit of water in the bottom of it. I've got it on set on low. I'm doing an arnica oil as we speak for a client. And just let it sit. Heat it up. Let it just sit, kind of simmer on real low heat overnight. And it's great for, like I said, bug bites. I had it in my what we call boo-boo cream around here with anti-owie, my daughter's idea.
Okay.
And it works for like little cuts and little bug bites and those little splinters that you just pull out that leave a little bit of soreness on it. You can put it on that. It's great for it.
Okay. Could you hold the jar up again so people can see kind of the ratio? So it's pretty much fill the jar and then top it just over the top with oil. So
it's hot.
Just to kind of get the ratio there. So as you can see,
I filled the jar up to about here with the plant material, and then filled it full of. I'm using olive oil on this one. Just filled it full of oil, so it's a pint jar. I'm heating it up slowly. I've been heating it up all day long. I just kind of stir it up every once in a while, shake it up, put it back in there, and the heat kind of pulls the constituents out of the plant material and absorbs into the oil.
Heat is movement, so warmth makes the things move, and they head out of the leaves. Okay, here's a good question from Deanna. What does sumac leaf tea do for you?
It's good for high blood pressure. It's one of the things I use for high blood pressure.
Yeah. Do you happen to know the mechanism? Is it dilating the blood vessels, or?
I don't. And that's the one thing about. We practice several different modalities of herbalism here. Mm-hmm. Modern herbalism, which has the science based on it. Then you have folk herbalism, which is just magic. I mean, lack of a better term, it's just magic. It's the world's magic. Scientists have been taking constituents out of different plants, and it just doesn't work the same. You have to have that whole plant. It has to grow in that dirt. It's the whole package. Nobody knows why it works. It just does. Mm-hmm. And then there's Chinese herbalism. There is Ayurvedic medicine from India and in that area. I mean, we do a lot of whole different things here. I mean, it's hard to keep up.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's so many options and so many different ways of treating, and you can throw different things at it to find for the particular person.
Diana, the best bet I can tell you is, like I tell everybody that I teach, take the subject and run with it. I'm fixing to do a class at Caddo on mullein, and you cannot believe I found out things about mullein that I never knew before.
Nope.
And that's one of my go-to plants. I didn't know that there was a commercial beer with mullein in it. Yeah. It was made back in 2016. It's got mullein and something else in it. Yeah, I mean, it's, there's just all kinds of things. There's a gentleman by the name of Ryan Drum up in British Columbia who makes a stout for his village out of the sap of the stalk of the mullein plant.
I'm thinking we need to do a road trip here.
That's what I'm saying.
and so that actually brings another point I like to people to understand when it comes to herbal medicine. These different cultures have come up with different cures for the same problem based on plants around them.
Right.
And so, especially now, there's a thing they've shown that, like, the Greek diet works great if you're Greek.
Right.
The Japanese diet works great if you're Japanese.
Right.
But because, there was this evolution between the people and the plants around them that, kind of work together. Right. But now, as there's so much, movement and change and mixing, the purity has been blended. And so the cures often,
even now, specifically, especially in Greece, it's environmental. I mean, even what worked for them while they lived in Greece worked well for them, they moved to New York or they moved to Texas or wherever, it doesn't work for them anymore because the environment's different, the air is different, the pollution is different. They're getting they're absorbing more of the static from the area. Yeah. And it doesn't work right.
And another big thing is, the social interactions are different.
Yeah.
And that plays a big role in health. They pointed out with the Greek diet, and the fasting, a lot of the Greek Orthodox Church, they have like 140 some days of religious fasting throughout the year.
Yeah, it's
just focus on the diet and not the eating part. Yeah, so it's like you said, it's the whole cultural thing.
Right.
And that's what we're up against. Okay, it is 8:51, so I got the last sponsors, and then we'll jump back here. So let me just bring this up. So, of course, there it is. Okay, Uncommon Bees, your ultimate supplier of all things bee and bee related, infused honeys, infused beeswax, pharmaceutical, or not pharmaceuticals, that's not the right word, but cosmos stuff. Yeah. So check them out. And with their coupon, the Forking Weeds, anything between 8 p.m. and 9:30 on Thursday evenings, you get 25% off. They have now close to 70 different infused honeys. They also have some of the purest CBD type isolate materials out there in different honey and cream forms. So really, really, really good there. So check out Uncommon Bees. They are totally amazing. And then the last one is Arbor True. So if you have a tree problem, whether it needs to be pruned, removed, or it is infected with something and you want to try and save it rather than remove it, Arbor True has a fully staffed laboratory for trying to pinpoint the specific, like, fungus or other disease that your tree may have, and then come up with treatments to try and save the tree. They also have some really cool technology that no other landscaping company has, and that is a particular bacterium that they've managed to find that converts pretty much every plant into a nitrogen fixing plant. If you know anything about plants, legumes, the pea family, They can have these nodules along their roots that are colonized by a specific bacteria that can take the nitrogen gas into the air and break it and combine it with oxygen to make nitrates, which is fertilizer. So they found a bacteria that can pretty much colonize any plant and convert any plant into that. So did I put them up? Yes. Okay, cool. So yeah, any sort of tree landscaping sort of needs, give Arbor Tree a call. They travel pretty much all over the Gulf Coast, Florida to California. Because if you stretch your imagination, there's kind of a little Gulf over in California. Okay, back to Derek. We got 6 minutes here. Let's see. Oh, okay. Here's a good question. We're going to put you to the test now. Allergies. What do you recommend for allergies? In particular, the ragweed in the fall, and then the cedar, and also the oak and pine in the spring. What if someone said, I just have problems with allergies? Give me something.
Stop breathing.
Here's a plastic bag. No,
let's plastic bag. Tie it tight. No, don't do that. It's goldenrod is one of the go-tos. Mullein is a great, especially for those, because you're going to get allergies. I mean, there's people out here that have never had allergies in their life, and then all of a sudden, boom, they're all stuck up. So goldenrod is really good for it. Doing breathing treatments with mullein steam, a good steam is phenomenal for it because it helps clear out the sinuses. Cayenne pepper, eating cayenne will actually help because it works as it kind of loosens everything up, opens everything up, lets everything drain. But yeah, I mean that's my go-to is goldenrod for any type of allergy. Now you can do. I have a Sinus Formula that is made out of a bunch of different things. I mixed it up for a gentleman who was having migraines due to sinus problems, and it's got fenugreek in it. It's got thyme, bentonite clay, so that it kind of captures all the stuff that you're breathing in, but you drink a lot of water with it so that it kind of flows out instead of in.
Yep.
And water. I mean, water is the key to everything. It keeps everything loose.
Yep.
I'm not going to say, wear a mask because it's just not going to work. Be mindful of your area. Don't go traipsing through a bunch of ragweed.
Yeah.
Stay out of the cedar forest.
Yeah. Kind of understand what is the true cause of your allergies.
Right.
Try and mitigate that in your life. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
a lot of people just kind of assume they know what's causing the allergies rather than, doing the whole.
And that's one of the things is people think that, goldenrod, I'm allergic to goldenrod. It's giving me allergies. No, it's not. It's the ragweed that blooms the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Nature has this way of putting things together. There's an ailment and then there's a cure. And that's just how it works. If you get stuck by thistle, there's usually some type of jewelweed next to it, or plantain, or something that's going to get rid of the sting in nature.
Yeah.
That's just how it grows. It's crazy.
There's a North Pole and a South Pole.
Yep.
Yeah, think of it that way. Monopoles do not exist in nature.
No.
You can't have a North Pole with no South Pole.
That's it.
Okay, let's see. What else do we got here? Any other questions?
Is there a repellent to keep them from the house? Talking about pigs? Yeah, a gun.
Yeah.
Heavy fences. I mean, they're killing everybody right now. I mean, it's
Claymore.
Dogs are brutal. There's really nothing that you can feed them that's going to keep them away.
Yeah.
Even the thick, dense thorns like mesquite.
Just go right through it. Yeah,
they're right through it.
Yeah, I saw there's a mutation that has occurred in the Texas pigs now that they can start having babies as young as 3 months old.
Yep.
From being born to putting out their own litter is 3 months.
I got to show this because that's one of the tribe has asked me to make this for them.
Cool.
and I have it, and it will probably go out in the mail tomorrow. It's supposed to go on out earlier, but I've had some mailing issues with the post office. So for those people who have the deep muscle issues, you know who you are. I'm not going to say any names. Yeah, there you go. I've got it. It's be out to you tomorrow. It's for deep wound. It's actually they got some torn muscles, and it's got a little bit of poke in there to help drain any of the infection out. It's got some arnica. It's got some berberines in it. It's got a little bit of everything in it.
Cool.
But we do a lot of custom work. So if you come in, chances are my wife hates it because I'll just start grabbing stuff off the shelf and throwing it into an oil or something. And my wife is like, well, what'd you put in that? I don't know. Just made it.
Inspired picking.
Right. That's how it works. But yeah, that's where it goes. Herbs are, people keep calling me an herbalist, and I'm more of a formulary. I'm not an apothecarist. I'm a formulary. I put together stuff and make people better.
Yep. To help people.
What's good for sore muscles? Cayenne rub. Make a cayenne oil. Use a little ginger, little garlic, not ginger. Yeah, ginger. Use a little ginger, a little cayenne. Make an oil out of it. Let it cool down. Strain it real good so you don't get all that grit in there, and then just rub it. That makes a big difference. It gets the blood flowing to it.
Yeah. A warning about the cayenne pepper oil and salve is that orange color
will stay with you.
Yeah, will stay on your skin for a while, but it can also rub off on things too.
Yes.
So, treat it when you're okay with not, touching anything with that particular body part.
Right. Wash your hands afterwards.
Yes. Okay. Arnica is a plant.
Baby, hand me my arnica up there, please.
Yeah. Got it.
I have a jar full of it. It is a plant. It is a flower. We have a large collection of raw herbs here. So let's see. There it is.
Yep. There we go. Yep.
It's a flower. And you tincture the flower heads, or you make a salve out of the flower heads.
Okay, and then one last, we're going a little over, but that's okay. So we talked about this at the beginning. And what is your opinion on homeopathics? Or am I can open worm everywhere? And remember, I'm a scientist, so I have...
Like everything out there, it has its place. I know that's the safe answer. But it's true. I mean, there's Box makes a phenomenal rescue homeopathic remedies. My daughter has used them for nightmares. It works wonderfully. On occasion, I've got a little bitty tin of the lozenges for I have PTSD from the military, and I go into a grocery store. I have to chew one before I go into the grocery store, and it seems to help.
That's understandable. Yeah.
Large crowds and I do not get along real well. I freak out. That's why I kind of stay in the woods a lot. I love people. No, I don't. I love smart people.
What's the idea of people?
I love the tribe.
Reality, yeah.
I like the tribe. The tribes are good.
Yeah.
But it's
yeah.
Okay. Yes, Kathleen, I see that you're being adult through all of this. And I commend you for that.
If you want to know, the fine art of it. Well, I almost said adultery. That would be the adulting.
Wrong one, Mark.
Okay. At that point, probably
have a drink, Mark. Have a drink.
Yeah. So it is after 9. We had Derek for quite a while. We both have our families to get to. So thank you, tribe. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Like I said, throw some love towards the sponsors. Throw some love towards Derek. And see you tomorrow at the donut shop at the beginning of the world, 7:30ish until 8 a.m., same places. Until then, we consider you to be blessings in our lives, and hopefully we can be the same for you. So have a great evening.
Appreciate it.
See you tomorrow.
Tribe is awesome.
Thank you.
guys be safe.
Thank you for being so good about answering all these surprise questions. I had no doubt that you would just bang 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 take it away. But
yeah, I had no clue. I was not prepared for any of this.
that's what makes them so fun.
I wouldn't have drank so much.
All right, whoops, there it's back.
Yep.
Oh,
The demon's back.
at this point, it is definitely time to go. See you all tomorrow morning. Bye bye.